Can you kind of put and articulate maybe the threat posed by the modern left? What is it to you?
Oh, it's ideological. I mean, it's the greatest threat that we see. I tell people we're on an ideological battlefield, which is probably more dangerous than the battlefields that I've been on, because these are people that are, within the gates, and we have to be very concerned about the fact that, no longer are people, reticent of saying that I'm a progressive, I'm a communist, I'm a socialist, I'm a Marxist. This is what is happening. And when you look at their policies and what they're doing, the level of fascistic activity to censor people and try to shut down free speech. And so this is really about power and control. So I think that as we go forward in America, it is less about R and D after your name. It is more so about how you see the relationship of the individual citizen to the institution of government. And constitutional conservatives, who are really the classical liberals, if you study John Locke and Second Treatise of Government, natural rights theory, we understand that naturally your rights come from a creator God and they are life, liberty, property. Thomas Jefferson said, pursuit of happiness. And we see the individual, their rights, their freedoms, their liberty, their sovereignty as an individual being supreme over the institution of government. But progressive, socialists, statists, Marxists, communists, they see the institution of government being supreme over the individual. And first and foremost, we got to make sure that this cultural Marxism is not being taught in our schools. Starting now, it seems, at the elementary school level, definitely at the middle school, high school, and certainly at the college and university level. So this is a serious threat to the future of America. And when you had someone that said back in 2008, we're 5 days away from fundamentally transforming America, we should have taken him serious. His name was Barack Obama.
Yeah, I read somewhere about you that you've implored folks to read Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. It's interesting. I was reading that about you. I just did a podcast with a friend of mine on that book, and we kind of went through some of the points. What relevance do you think that book has in our modern society, political society?
If you don't understand your enemy's playbook, how can you defeat them? How can you really get inside their decision cycle? And that's the problem. And I think that we have Republican Party conservatives. We are always reacting.
Mhm.
We are never on the offense. We are always allowing the other side to set the narrative and set the tone, and we follow behind them. So when Rahm Emanuel said, never let a good crisis go to waste, I mean, that's really an Alinsky type of mindset. And this chaos, this confusion that they like to create, that follows along. And so I think that we have to study their playbook, study who they are and what they stand for. I tell people also read the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx and Frederick Engels, because you again have to understand their philosophy of governance, their ideology. But on the other side, I tell people to read Democracy in America by Alexis de Tocqueville. I tell them to read The Law by Frederick Bastiat to understand that relationship between the individual and the institution of government. And I tell people to read Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington, because I think that's a fantastic book to understand, because the real choices that we have in America, progressive socialists want victims. But what we have to do is have a message of how do we make people victors.